Hey, what's shaking? It's Alex Greenwood, host of PR After Hours here on Anchor FM. I've been podcasting off and on since 2006, and I've got to tell you something. Back in the old days when it was all stone knives and bear skins and a string and Dixie cups, podcasting was a real challenge. Fast forward to today, and it's still got a lot of challenges, especially for folks who don't have time to set up a home studio or go to a studio or things like that. So I found Anchor FM and I love it, love it, love it for how easy it is to create my own podcast here on this channel called PR After Hours. I love how you can put everything together so simply right from your desktop or your phone. And there's so many great creation tools that allow you to record and edit your pod right there. And I just can't recommend that part alone enough. Also, though, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. So it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from this too with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. That's the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And we'll see you back at PR After Hours. Welcome back to PR After Hours. I'm your virtual cocktail shaker, Alex Greenwood, here, and we're here to offer you weekly tips on PR, marketing, management, that sort of thing. And this week I want to talk to you a little bit about some tips that I think are really beneficial for everyone. And I think that people need to put some thought into this instead of doing the same old, same old. Or maybe if you're thinking you're doing everything right, step back and see if these tips can be applied to what you're doing and maybe improve your situation for your PR, your brand awareness, that sort of thing. So I was looking at an article on business2community.com, and they had a piece called How to Upgrade Your PR Strategy for 2020 by Wendy Marks, and I will endeavor to put a link in the show notes. And there was one piece on there that I think was really important, and that's tell a story. Storytelling, as she says, does more than simply relay your message. One study found that 92% of consumers preferred ads that were in the form of stories. And this extends to PR as well. Storytelling, she says, forms a connection with your audience on an emotional level. After all, who of us doesn't get wrapped up into a good story, right? Well, she makes a great point. I write books on the side, by the way. I write fiction. And I know that that if you can harness the power of a good tale, you'll not only keep people turning pages, but if you do it with your brand, you may very well make sales, you may very well build awareness, but the most important reason why is because you're connecting on a human level. You're not just saying, buy this from me. You're telling a story that helps people get their mind wrapped around why your brand, product, service is right for them, right? So as she went on to say, when you're looking at your strategy and crafting a campaign, always look for the human element. And I couldn't have said it better myself. So she gives a good example here. She says, consider sharing a customer's experience in your campaign. Well, that's, we do that all the time with testimonials, right? We tell a story about how a customer's interaction with the brand improved their life or made them happy or gave them value beyond what they expected. You can turn on the TV and see tons of those kinds of things, all the way from your local car dealer who is like, wow, working with so-and-so Ford, I didn't have to jump through hoops and play the game with let me talk to my manager and all this stuff. They just told me the price. They worked with me to get the financing and we got me out the door in my wonderful car and I couldn't be happier. People want to hear that, right? I think that also gets down to why people like looking at things like Yelp and online reviews. Am I the only one who read Amazon reviews before I buy a product I've not had before? Boy, I read the reviews because people are telling what? Their story about how they interacted with this item they purchased. Storytelling is huge. And if you're not adept at telling stories, you probably are and just don't know it. But you can always talk to a PR professional who can help you out. I hope that this little mini cocktail, this little shot of PR tips was helpful. Again, I'll put a link in the show notes to the article and you can read more what Wendy wrote. And of course, I can expand more about what I said if you need help. It's real simple. Go to alexgpr.com and we have a contact form and we offer free 30-minute phone consultations if you need PR services. If it's something PR related like storytelling, I certainly want to talk to you and see if there's ways that my company can help you with your brand. If you go to alexgpr.com, make sure if you have a question, if there's some tip that you need or some item or some just thing that I should be talking about here during the happy hour of PR After Hours, I'm happy to do so. Just go to AlexGPR, hit the contact button, put it in there, and just say, hey, this is for the podcast. Can you answer this question or give us your take on this or that? All right, sound good? I really appreciate you listening to the show. By the way, there's a link in the show notes. If you want to let me rattle the tip jar a little bit here, I'd appreciate any support you can give me to help keep this show going. Doesn't have to be a lot, can be as little as $1, but it'd be nice just to get a tip or two here, wiping down the bar and polishing up the glasses and cutting up the fruit for garnish, all that stuff. Anyway, I'd appreciate that. And of course, if you want to sponsor the show, just get in touch with me through Anchor FM. All right? Thanks so very much. Again, I'm Alex Greenwood, your virtual PR bartender, hoping you have a wonderful happy hour and beyond. And we'll talk to you next week. Do you need advice on how to effectively promote your business or organization, but are too worn out to think about it? Well, join me after hours. I'm Alex Greenwood, a 25-year PR veteran and host of PR After Hours, a cocktail of tips on public relations, marketing, and more. On PR After Hours, you'll gain valuable PR insights that will help you promote your brand. We'll also share resources that will help you improve without breaking the bank. So have a seat at the bar and enjoy a cocktail on PR After Hours right here on Anchor FM.